Clovers and blue moons. Well, gosh, here the heck we are. Hello, good evening, Merry Christmas Eve. Here we are. It's the 24th of December. We've got we've got the holidays happening, and I hope you guys are having good holidays, as best you can in this wacky year. It's it's a weird one. It's a weird one. I feel very fortunate myself. So the reason I was originally going to do this stream tomorrow, because the album gets released at noon tomorrow, but my holiday plans changed slightly because I'm going to my brother's family and I have been isolating ourselves for the past 2 weeks, 2 weeks, so we could do Christmas together. So I'm going over to their place tomorrow, which is just so exciting. Get to see him in person. Shalomi, my homies. Uh, so I'm doing the stream tonight instead, because I tried to figure out bring all my streaming stuff necessary over to over to my brother's house, but this ended up just being way easier. So um, I know I know that it's a little odd, but I like it in a way to have this anticipation. We'll all get to hear it once, and then it gets released tomorrow. I also suspect this is probably I suspect this is going to be a small stream because there are going to be like people are doing stuff. They're busy, which is fine. So this is just our little secret. Although, of course, it will get posted, uploaded to the second channel, Finn was streaming, once this is done. And really, that's it. So we're just gonna hang out here. And all right, so check this out, Aaron, dude. I left my family Christmas for this. Maybe you shouldn't have, Aaron. Like the album's gonna be out tomorrow. You can still listen to it then. Um, but I'm glad you're here. Well, thanks very much, Rora. Okay, so here's my plan. Here's my rough plan. Uh, first we're gonna need to swap screens to check this out. Chapow! Oh, oh! Look at this! Look at this now. We got me up in the top left. We got our album art on the right side of the screen, and we've got our track listing down in the bottom left. There it is. I'm thrilled about this. So before we get going, here's the album art. Pretty darn cool. I'm looking at it over here on this other screen. Um, here it is. It's a pretty cool album art. So it's a painting. It's a physical painting that exists in the actual real world, and I am going to be getting it at some point. In like I'm getting it mailed to me. Where did I put this? Right, I'm getting it mailed to me, so I can have it here in like a physical thing I can hang on the wall, which I'm very excited about. So we have this album art here, and what does it mean? You know, what does this mean? This artwork. We've got ourselves this dragon. We've got ourselves this figure here, enigmatically pointed away from our point of view. What does it all mean? Well, it'll make sense once we start listening to stuff, because the album is a narrative. It's a story. It all ties together. You can think of it like a musical. Musicals have a story. They go all the way one to through. There could very easily be like scenes of dialogue interspersed in between these songs. Uh, but it's not because it's an album and I didn't want to do it exactly like that. I did want it to just all be music. So it's there is a whole narrative, and I will speak on the narrative as we go along. It's I say it with this tentative voice because I it's music means different things to different people, and I don't necessarily want the album to mean the same thing to everyone that it does to me. Like, it has a very specific meaning to me, as the creator and as the person who knows the story and who like wrote it that way. But it doesn't necessarily need to mean that to you. It could mean something totally different. Yeah, it's like a rock opera, Nairo. It is kind of like a rock opera. Because it's a little too it's a little well, I don't know. Musicals are getting wild and cool. So I think we should just launch ourselves into this. Um, I am going to move. I need to move something on my screen here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah. I also have the piano hooked up because it's always hooked up. Um, so it's here. It's here we are. So here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna go through this sequentially, um, and I'll talk about stuff, after before each track, kind of introduce them, do all that. Um, but here's a couple questions already. From Linux Liner, is it a linear narrative or is the timeline mixed? It is a linear narrative. From the logical standpoint, like from the canon standpoint, all of these songs happen sequentially. It's all a story. It opens with the overture. It closes with Kara. So it is just a whole story from start to finish. Felix, hello, Felix. You should be asleep, Felix. um, How long have you been working on this? A long time. Valkyrie. I wrote and recorded Valkyrie at the start of 2019. So that was the first song on the album. And then I finished stuff up in August, September of this year. September was when I did the last masters. Yeah. So I pecked away at it for a long time, and then in the summer, I was very explicit. Like I said on the channel, I was like, I'm gonna focus on this for a little while, and I did all that. Jack Bean, are you gonna sell a hard copy? It's not immediately planned. No, the initial release is all digital. And from Aries Gamer, why is there a dragon? You shall find out as the story goes. So, uh, let's let's start here. I want to give you guys a test first, um, to make sure that your audio levels are all good. So let's just listen to us to a little bit of Cloudless from the old EP. This is about how loud the music is going to be. So you prep your speakers, your headphones, your levels to whatever they're going to be. It's going to be about that loud. And the reason I put that up is because the album has a lot of dynamic changes. There are points where it's quiet, there are points where it gets pretty loud. So you want to be able to experience the whole thing without changing the volume knob. That's about how loud you want to be. But we're not here to listen to Itwa. Itwa the Traveler can just travel right on out of here. Get out of here. So, let's stop a doing and start a doing. Ha, that is weak. Come on, Finn. Okay, so let's just start listening to something. Let's bust right into the overture here. And this is our introduction. So the curtains open and we experience this. let the journey begin. So there's our overture. There's our opening. Uh, it is this big orchestral thing. Yeah, call me Alex said. I remember for Patreon you made a point about the gunshot. That is indeed a gunshot that closes out that 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 area, that piece. So what does it mean really? So you have to I mean keep so like I when I hear that I visualize the stage because I have the story in mind so much. And the story is based. So what's going on here is we have imagine. Um, you know what? This is gonna be easier. This is gonna be screw it. So imagine. I have no plan for the stream, as is very clear. I was just like, we'll listen to stuff and talk about it. I didn't know. I didn't have any plan in mind. Um, Imagine our stage opens, and what we're seeing is our mind's eye camera. We're going in to this sort of nondescript city, and in this sort of dingy apartment, and that's where we meet our protagonist, who is never actually referred to in name, but I've called Jet, and uh, Jet is not doing great. Jet is not doing great, guys, and he has a gun, and he's not doing great. And I think you can put the two pieces together. That gunshot is Jet. So the story starts with our hero dying. Where will it go from here, right? I want to answer a few questions. I can imagine this in an Avengers movie trailer. Yeah, I mean, I took a lot of inspiration from Ramin Djawadi for this, who wrote this all the music for Game of Thrones, especially that low piano stuff. That's like that is I loved his piece for the Night King in season 8. And there's piano like that in it. That sort of vibe. But it could be in Avengers too. I do like Alan Silvestri's orchestration. It is, yeah, all that stuff is, it is tragically not live instruments. It's all virtual. Um, Someday I'll be able to record an orchestra, but I just don't have the resources to do that. Also, it's a pandemic, so that made things challenging. No, I did not use a real gun. I have gun sounds and all that. What a short story. Right. It's just the beginning. So that's our overture. And that is our introduction. And now we're moving on into what happens next, and that is where our second character joins in. Our second character being the Valkyrie. So let's move on to track 2, Valkyrie. Now we're getting some groove. Oh man. Oh, that's got so much fun stuff in it. Yeah, that I have to say that high note, uh, it's like it's way up there. Yeah, that was. I'm pretty proud of that one. I just like I remember when I was recording, I hit it and I was just like, got it. Wow. Okay. So let me scroll back here to answer some questions that are going along the way because I never want to interrupt the music since this is going to be your guys' first listen. So I just want you guys to hear the song, but I will then answer all the questions after each one. Um, yeah. So that's the chord progression you kept playing in late night piano. It is. I've had Valkyrie written for almost 2 years, so I've just been teasing it here and there on late night piano. Finally, we get some lyrics. Yep, Lord of Darkness. I didn't play it in the all day stream actually, Trackpad Timmy, but I've played it in various arrangements on late night piano a bunch of times. I was really smiling, Linux Liner, when you picked this out. Oh my god, blue and green are the eye colors. You are correct. You are correct. The Valkyrie has green eyes, Jet has blue eyes. So the fun thing about writing a story is that you can do correlations like that. You can have these callbacks and these details line up, and it's so satisfying to me to have stuff like that. Nairo brings up an excellent point, but if Jet shoots himself or herself, really, also the gender is never once referred to. That's not really important to the story whatsoever. Um, would I'll use they. Screw it, I'll use they for the rest of this because it's I would rather leave that up to each of you to decide in your head. Um. Anyways, where we go here? Nairo asked, "Shoot, where do we go?" I'm I lost this. I lost this. Here, wait, here we go. If Jet shoots himself, would they go to Valhalla? That's a great point. So, for those of you who don't know a lot about Norse mythology, Valhalla is like a physical location in the Norse afterlife. Um, when the devout of the Norse gods died, they would go to one of two places. They would go to Valhalla, which is a warrior's hall, or they would go to Folkvangar, which are endless fields, like a sort of heaven-esque place. Endless fields, endless plains of plenty, and all that. Um, Valkyries, mythologically speaking, they're the servants of Odin, the Allfather, who is the head of the Norse pantheon. And it was their task to ferry souls to Valhalla and to Folkvangar. So it was up to the Valkyries to decide which souls went where. Generally, the warriors went to Valhalla, everyone else went to Folkvangar. Or sorry, the Valkyries did that for the souls of warriors who died in battle, and they would do sort of a 50-50 split between Valhalla and Folkvangar. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Maple Eagle. Oust is in Icelandic. So is Kara, which is an Icelandic name. Um, Although really, it's in Old Norse. Icelandic is the closest modern translation to Old Norse. So you're gonna start hearing in the next song too, the chorus of the Einherjar. You're gonna start to hear lyrics in Old Norse as best as I can translate them. I did a bunch of research. It was a real fun rabbit hole to dive down. Um, so what happens here in Valkyrie? Well, the basis of it is that um, yeah, at the end of the overture, Jet shoots himself, and then a Valkyrie shows up, and the Valkyrie is encouraging Jet to come with, and she's saying, "You're coming to Valhalla. I've made my decision because I believe you have a warrior spirit." And Jet is like, "But okay." So I shot myself. That doesn't really sound like a hero's end to me. And the Valhalla's like, trust me. Trust me. This is my gut feeling. I know you have the right spirit. And Jet is like, well, I don't have any other options. I just don't, I'm already dead. So it's kind of a reluctant go with. Like, Jet doesn't really believe they're a warrior, doesn't really believe they're a hero. But they're like, I guess I have to, you know? What choice do I have? So, that big end section where it's just this, let me see if I can find it. Oh, perfect timing. So we have, the whole song goes on. There's kind of this back and forth. The end section where it's just the high note and then this smashing of the orchestra and big notes. That, to me, that's the journey up to Valhalla. That's the journey from Jet's dingy apartment in some nondescript modern city, transitioning into this fantastical, mythological plane. So it's just like a larger-than-life experience. And let's hear that high note one more time, because boy, it just gives me the goosebumps. That is a good time. All right, but let's move on. Let's keep it moving, because we got 13 tracks to get through. So next up is the chorus of the Einherjar. Jet and the Valkyrie arrive at Valhalla. And the Einherjar, boy, have they got a song to sing. Ooh, it's just great. It's heavy, it's awesome. And I played this one semi-live during the all-day stream. But here it is for the first time in full bing, bang, boom, bada, bing, fortune, and power and the full raw recording, the chorus of the Einherjar. track. What a song. That's one of my favorites on the album. Wow. Ah, holy moly. So let's respond to some of the comments that came up in the middle. Um, I hear Area 51. There's a little bit. You have to keep in mind that so I wrote Chorus of the Einherjar around this time last year. Um, and it was because I wrote Battle of Area 51 like semi recently, like before that, but I felt like I didn't do it justice. And I always put ideas away. But a couple months later, it came up with that idea, the basic riff, that's the start of it. And I was like, it's a little similar, but you know what? It's fine. I feel like I got a chance to do something totally different. Um, and it was with Chorus of the Einherjar. Once I got the idea to have the singing in Old Norse, to have an actual big like men's choir in it, that's what really got the album going. That's what really like the album could have gone a bunch of different ways. I'd written Valkyrie and a couple other tunes, and I was like, I don't know what angle I want to take. I don't know what story I want to tell, if I want to tell a story at all. Um, and with Chorus of the Einherjar, I was like, okay, so it's Norse stuff. I'm doing Norse stuff. And after Valkyrie and Chorus of the Einherjar were mostly finished, I was like, okay, now I can make a story out of this. I can now make a story. Although Einherjar really it fits into the story as the Einherjar welcoming the Valkyrie back and welcoming Jet in, which I'll talk about in a second. But it's also like it's just I've never written a big song about personal empowerment. I wanted a song that when you listen to, it's like the song itself is telling you you're awesome. I've never written a song like that, and this is the one. Like right off the bat, you are a lion. Let's hear your roar. And then there's the big crowd vocals. Um, fierce as a grizzly, fast as a horse. I just want people to feel good when they listen to it. Just like if you're having a bad day, if you're feeling a little under the weather, you go listen to Chorus of the Einherjar, and you have a bunch of old Norse warriors telling you you're totally awesome. So I'm very happy about that. It is very like when you say nearsighted waddle, when you say just radiates hype, imagine that, but live in a big arena show, and the whole crowd singing like the whoa, like singing all that, and just everyone going jumping and going nuts. That's my dream. That is my dream. Thank you, Theo. Stings with bells are completely underrated. I also believe that. Having that little bit in the middle with the bells and lighter, I was like, this is such a great shift of tone because it's been pretty heavy for the whole time. Yeah, that's correct, Track with Timmy. I did tease this progression, and I think I even sang it once on a late night piano stream. Great question, Aaron Keogh. What even is an Einherjar? The Einherjar are the Norse warrior spirits that inhabit Valhalla. They spend their days feasting in Valhalla and fighting, and they're just there in preparation for Ragnarok, which is the prophesied ending of the world. So they're there at Odin's leisure, and they're just fighting and feasting for eternity until Ragnarok comes, at which point they will stream out of Valhalla and join the battle. And then Maple Eagle asks, what are the parts at the start and the end? What are those lyrics? So let me tell you. Strith antlaut augaite are those words at the start and the end. Strith antlaut augaite. and that's war, death, glory. So, that's kind of what the Einherjar are all about. Those three things, they're dead, they're warriors, they got glory. It's all that. In the context of the narrative, they're saying it like they're singing it to Jet. Because the Valkyries bringing Jet to Valhalla, so the Einherjar are like, tell us your story. And they even say that explicitly later in the second chorus. Where they go, the lyrics are. So where the lyrics double up. Actually, it's gonna be easier if I find this here. Right. So there's the main lyrics here, but listen to the Einherjar in the background. So they're saying Seya Ikar Saga Song, which is basically tell us your story. Tell us the story of how you died. Tell us the story of your warrior's death. That's what we want to hear. That's the greatest story that you can tell us. Hit us with that. So they're welcoming Jet in. They are doing, they're trying to, get in here. Get in here. What got me into Norse mythology? I love all mythology. Like mythologies are so fascinating, and there are even references to Greek mythology on this album, which you'll hear. You hear it blue and green already. Aphrodisiacal. I spawned that word, which is referring to Aphrodite and Dionysus. Aphrodite being the goddess of love, Dionysus being the god of revelry in the Greek pantheon. And I just portmanteaued them together, Aphrodisiacal, to describe a situation that is filled with love and revelry. And there's another one in How Angels Die. There's another Greek mythological reference. I should have kept them to Norse ones. I did in here in Einherjar in the second verse. What's it? Renowned as the Jötnar, your legend grows. The Jötnar being the Jotuns, the giants, the titans of Norse mythology. If you're renowned as the Jötnar, these ancient titans, you're doing pretty well for yourself. Is Ragnarok going to be a plot point? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so let's move on to the first song that we've already heard. "Pull You Down" was released a couple weeks ago as its standalone thing. And since you may have already heard it, I'm going to give you a new context for it, the context of the story. So some of these songs are written to stand more individually than as part of the story. And "Pull You Down" is one of them. So it's if you take "Pull You Down" on its own, it plays like a breakup song, like someone got cheated on. And that's like my intention. I wanted it to stand alone. In the context of the story, what happens is, so the Einherjar have welcomed Jet in, and they're like, tell us your story. Tell us the story of your warrior's death. Tell us how you died. And Jet is like, I committed suicide. I shot myself alone in my apartment and not a battle. At which point, things start to go sour. That's when Odin shows up, and Odin, the Allfather of all the gods, not only denounces Jet as not a warrior, but he denounces the Valkyrie as well, because he believes that the Valkyrie should have known better, that she made an error So this song is sung from the perspective of Odin towards the Valkyrie. Boom. I'm stoked that you guys are enjoying the new context to pull you down. It does hit differently once you have the story with it. Really, there's not too much else to say about that one. Odin is not a fan. Odin's not a fan. Also, does Valkyrie have a name? She's just referred to as the Valkyrie throughout the narrative. So really, that's the situation. So Jet and the Valkyrie get cast out of Valhalla, which so Odin has. See ya, Felix. Odin in the Eddas has stripped Valkyries of their power before, so he does that here. He strips the Valkyrie of her immortality, of her divine gifts, and casts her out along with old Jet, and the two of them literally fall out of heaven. They start falling, and that's when The Sun Is at Our Backs plays. The sun is at our backs, The sun is in our front. Everywhere I look, shadows fall apart. The sun is in my eyes, but I'm never blind when I'm with you. We're falling down, 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 singing down, 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 down. But the sun is at our backs, the sun is in our front. Everywhere I look, shadows fall apart. The sun is in my eyes, but I'm never blind when I'm with you. The sun is at our backs, the sun is in our front. Everywhere I look, shadows fall apart. The sun is in my eyes, but I'm never blind when I'm with you. The sun is in my eyes, but I'm never blind when I'm with you. 'Cause the sun comes from your eyes. So there's the sun is at our backs. That's literally like the soft wind is literally the wind of the air as they're falling down through it. And that's in my mind that's always been Jet singing to the Valkyrie. It's sort of a sorry I got you kicked out of Valhalla kind of a vibe. And Jet just trying to breed some positivity, like an apology. It's musically it's important. It's needed to break up. It's been pretty dense and intense and in your face up until now. So it's really nice to have that acoustic break there. And I like the bird sounds too, Samuel. It's such a good summer day vibe. I just feel a summer day. Yeah, that's exactly it, Linux Liner. Cast out of Valhalla with your Valkyrie GF, and Jet's trying to pep talk her. And you know what? That's a great segue into these streets because that's what happens. Jet and the Valkyrie are cast out of Valhalla and they fall all the way back down to Midgard, to Earth, and they slam back into Jet's apartment, and Jet slams back into their body. Jet's back in their body, the bullet is back in the gun, and the Valkyrie is now just a human. So that's if there were an act 1, that's the act 1, to the narrative, to the whole musical situation. So what happens is time starts to pass, and Jet feeling pretty guilty, like knowing they didn't have a warrior spirit in the first place, but now like responsible for the Valkyrie, tries to cheer her up, and they go around the city, these streets, around the streets of where Jet lives, and Jet, this whole song is a pep talk. It's being like just try, being human's not so bad. It's okay. It's okay. Plus, for this one, I got Ryan Oakes, who is a rapper. I've always wanted to be the chorus guy in a rap song, and no rappers were contacting me to be in rap songs. So I decided I was like, I can just contact a hip hop artist to be in my song. So this is This is Pep Talk, the song, and it's a total tonal shift because now we're out of the fantastical mythological world and we're just like thrust back into the modern day. So let's get urban.
I come downtown just to feel alive. There's a kind of magic in these streets. Kicking to a beat, tripping on a high. Sipping on the ichor of this city. Sun on my skin, not a cloud in the air. Nothing on my list to do would be here. I come downtown just to energize. There's a kind of magic in these streets, yeah, and I know. We can have the countryside. I'll take the concrete. Give me the city lights. 'Cause I can go there every night, and there'll be something for me. There's something for me in these streets. But I can't work it out in these streets. I work it out. Oh, come on and move with me. And work it out. Flex and just get your feet. And work it out.
I used to wanna run from my hometown. I took it to the west coast and made it my home now. I had a lot of drive, never cried, never broke down. I took breaks, never crashed, I never slowed down. Nothing feels better to me than all the concrete surrounded by palm trees with the sun shining on me. The possibilities are always feeling so endless. Might be surrounded by pavement, but I was never cemented. Cause I was so free, so searching for purpose, running from all of my doubts, smoking and lost in a circus downtown with no shirt, no shoes, getting service, forgetting all of my burdens, waiting behind all the curtains to get a chance just to go shine. Might take a couple L's, but I know I'll be fine. In love with the process, I've never been afraid to grind. I'ma keep on going till the city is mine, until the city is mine. Oh,
You can have the countryside. I'll take the concrete. Give me the city lights. 'Cause I can go there every night, and there'll be something for me. There's something for me in these streets. But I can't work it out in these streets. I work it out.
might take a couple L's, but I know I'll
Oh,
be
come on and move with me. Work it out. Flex and just get your feet. And work it out.
until the city is mine, until the city is mine.
Yeah. Such a neat song. I've never made one quite like it. So, where are we here? School, you've already made a name for the Valkyrie. Live your life. Right. So Jet did commit suicide. And although, like, for me personally, like these streets came around because I love where I live, and I love just like going downtown and feeling the atmosphere of a city, or like if I go to a new city, just walking around and feeling the vibe, feeling what it's like. I love that. For Jet, it's not so much that Jet is super stoked. Jet was depressed. I mean, still is, but it's almost more out of guilt, being like, I was the reason why the Valkyrie got cast out of uh, Valhalla. So it's more like, all right, I better smile a lot and like show the Valkyrie things are okay. this is like a house built on stilts, you know? And in this, like, sort of between these streets and You Can't Keep Your Heart Closed Forever, I've always imagined it as time passing. Like several months go by. And Jet and the Valkyrie have been living together. And the Valkyrie has been adapting pretty well. And Jet has just been sinking back into a long depressive episode. So now it's the Valkyrie singing to Jet. And it's a bit reversed. Valkyrie's got a bit of her pep back. Jet's lost a lot of pep. So let's see what the Valkyrie has to say.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
How about a key change? Yeah. Yeah. That song, it's for me, it's like the perfect middle of the album song. It's comfortable. It's comfortable. That's my word for it. Um yeah, so it's the Valkyrie singing. It's like, I see that you're just shutting everyone out. I see that you're just retreating into yourself. And that was important for me to say because like I want to say that to people too. I've known and know people like that who shut everyone else out. Um, and you can only you can't force your way through to people who are suffering from depression, but you can be there for them. You can say like, when you're ready, I'm here. I'm ready for whatever. And that's kind of the atmosphere of this song. So it's a fun back to back in these streets. Jet is like, "Oh, feeling guilty, and I need to like make you feel better." And then several months later, the roles have reversed, and the Valkyrie is like, "Okay, no, like now I'm kind of I'm like working on it. I'm getting there, but you are slipping." So it's to both of them, and there's a moment that happens when it suddenly clicks. That moment is oust. So it's just this piano piece. It's just a purely piano piece. I haven't written one of those in a while. Yes, oust means love in Icelandic/Old Norse. So that it's just the moment that things click for both of them. And it's just like I can't say it any better and simpler than it clicks. And that's what Blue and Green is about. So if you've heard Blue and Green already, it was the first single released. Now you have the story context for it. But musically, Blue and Green, the single, is different from Blue and Green, the album version. Because Blue and Green, the album version, we have Cyan, which is just an introduction and a hype up ramp to Blue and Green. Because Blue and Green has this big explosive start. So I'm just very excited for you to hear Cyan for the first time, because it's how Blue and Green always is for me. Like, I never listen to Blue and Green without listening to Cyan first. They are inextricably linked. Have yourself a listen, and you'll find out why. Blue and Green. It's probably my favorite song on the album. It's so emblematic of everything. And yeah, so I want to respond to some of this stuff because there have been some great comments. Thank you. I'm so glad people enjoy the transition. I've always wanted to do a song that was just that little intro thing. And making it, the transition was tricky because I wrote Blue and Green the whole thing without conceptualizing that intro. And I realized when I was done, I was like, wow, this just starts out of nowhere. I need something to lead into it. But Cyan ended up being this beautiful little piece. And Linux Line are pointing out some of the lyric stuff, yeah. And Reveal Mine too makes a little more sense now, right? Once you know that Jet's been closing themselves off. So that's opening up. You can't keep your heart closed forever. It all ties together. And thanks everyone saying Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all of that, and I wish that upon all of you well. This is December 24th after all. Tomorrow is it is the new Christmas day. Is this the midpoint? No, we're past the midpoint. We've only got 3 songs left. Now there are a couple longer songs, it's true. Empty and Kara are longer ones. But yeah, we're like 70% of the way through the story, I think. So Blue and Green, yeah, it's just, if Oust is the moment that Jet and the Valkyrie like realize that click, Blue and Green is just reveling in it. It's pure happiness. It's just pure sunshine and excitement. And I'm all stoked about it. Now this and then the track called How Angels Die happens. But you know what? So 2 things. One, I'm super stoked about this. This is my second favorite track on the album. It is an absolute earworm. If there is one thing you got to listen to, it's this one. And the other thing is, I'm just gonna play it, and I'm not gonna say anything just yet. Let's just play it and enjoy it. Here we go. Here we go. How Angels Die. Get ready for it to get stuck in your head. My God, this one is it. Okay. I've built it up, but it's worth it. Here we go.
My God, I'm panicking. I'm watching my love die. I'm watching my love die. And still I do nothing. I just sit still while she's clinging to life. I got no power, a coward, no good in a fight. And even when I pull the trigger, I shoot too late. And now I know the way that angels die. Panicking. I'm frozen as she struck again. Her sword is swinging, but she's staggering. She'll never win this one. She'll never win this one. She's my champion. My lover's effort is Atlantean. So in the end, it doesn't mean a thing. She's gonna lose this one. She's gonna lose this one. Still I do nothing, I just sit still. Meanwhile she's clinging to life. I got no power, a coward, no good in a fight. And even when I pull the trigger, I shoot too late. And now I know the way that angels
I love that one. It is 2.5 minutes of nothing but hooks. Every sentence, every melody. I'm so stoked about that one. Hello, Marshall. I hope you're doing well, my dude. Oh, well, if I can describe How Angels Die in 4 words, it is this: happy song, sad lyrics. So, um, it's I have dabbled with this one in late night piano. It's just so good. Oh man. So this song means absolutely nothing if you just take it on its own. There's nothing lyrically that makes sense about it. It's all hooks, but it is a great song. You don't need to understand what's going on to enjoy it, but a lot happens in the context of the narrative. So, um, in a musical setting, like how this might be realized, you have scenes of dialogue and stuff um, that aren't possible on an audio album. So what happens is what we really need to do is finally take a look at our album art, to that particular beastie up there. In Norse mythology, there's a creature called a lindworm. Lindwrm, or Wyrm. And traditionally, they're adversaries for the gods, particularly of Valkyries. So, what happens in the context of the story? And I know I haven't hinted at it thus far, and so it might feel cheap, but I mean, all the story is all imagined and all that. I did have a track almost introducing the Lindworm that would have happened earlier on, but it ended up just not being good music. Um, but here's the shtick. Here's what happens. When the Valkyrie loses her powers and she's hucked back to Earth, um, a Lindworm sniffs her out, traditional adversaries of the Valkyries, and it starts tracking her. And just as Jet and the Valkyrie are singing in blue and green, that's when the Lindworm crashes onto the scene and it goes after her. So the now not immortal Valkyrie with no powers starts having to fight this Lindworm, and Jet is paralyzed because, as we recall from the whole story leading up to now, Jet doesn't have a warrior spirit. Jet can't bring themselves to get in the fight. So they run and they get the gun. Remember that gun from the beginning? They go and get it, but they can't do anything until it's too late. And even when I pull the trigger, I shoot too late, and now I know the way that angels die. That pretty much explains it all. By the time Jet can bring themselves to do anything, it's a little too late. But it's something. It is actual action. It is actual action, if albeit too late. So Jet manages that one bullet that was meant for Jet kills the Lindworm. However, the Valkyrie has suffered fatal wounds, and that's when we have Jet's lament, Empty. So this is another one of the songs where this one works better on its own rather than connected to the narrative of the story. I'm gonna play the whole thing and then talk about it. It's heavy. There hasn't been a sad song on here so far, but this one is, and like for me, Finn, not the storyteller. Like this is, it's more about me than it is about the story, but it does works anyways. Here's Empty.
know how long I felt this way. Not overnight, but gradually he's come creeping in. Deer in the headlights, I face my challenges head on. I'm ready for a fight, but I don't know who to punch. I kinda feel empty, but why I don't know. I haven't cried 'cause I can't define why I feel this low. I could stitch a wound, I could bridge a break, if I could tell why I'm falling away. But some trapeze keeps that sight from me, and I only feel empty. Is it love? Yeah, that's been hard for me. Could be my art. I fail over and fail again. Deer in the headlights, I face my challenges head on. I'm looking for a fight, but I don't know who to punch. I kinda feel empty, but why I don't know. I haven't cried 'cause I can't define why I feel this low. I could stitch a wound, I could bridge a break, if I could tell why I'm falling away. But some trapeze keeps that sight from me, and I only feel empty. Some barricade always blocks my way, and I only feel empty. Guide me, teach me, show me, hold me, love me, want me, fix me, break me, devastate me, just so I can feel something, feel something. I'll take loss, but not a draw. Lend me passion, strip me raw. I take it all and thirst for more, just to feel something. Let me feel something.
It's a heavy song. Right. So we'd have heard we'd have heard that lyric. He sung basically all these songs before. Yeah, and somewhere or the other, I've toyed around with the ideas in late night piano. Usually, it was fun. It was fun to whenever I played stuff from the album. Whereas like people are like, "Is this improv or is this a song of his?" I never know, which is perfect. That's what I want to be. You never know what I'm playing. Thank you, Andy. The song is beautiful. Yeah, I'll take a loss, but not a draw. Is one of my favorite lyrics. Um, so the in the context of the story, it's a lament. It's just Jet's lament, and it doesn't mean more than that. For me, it's more than that. Um, like this one's more for me than it is for the story. I had this one day, um, back in the spring, and it was a day. It was a very weird day. I for the whole day I felt so incredibly empty. I felt totally numb. And I was like, wow, I am not happy, but also I'm not sad. I'm just nothing. I just had this one day, and the only thing I did that day was write that song. And then the next day I was fine, and I'm my usual positive self ever since. And beforehand, it was so out of the blue, and it was so bizarre. Um, and I was like, is this just me now? Is this just how I am now? But it was only at one day, literally just one day, the whole day. This devastating existentialism, this total numbness, and then I was fine. But on that day, I wrote empty. Basically exactly how it is now. Almost nothing changed, except adding instruments. Yeah. So that's empty. And that one is I can listen to that one okay. Playing it, like if I'm actually playing it and singing it, it wrecks me. It just fully it obliterates me. It is hard to get through. It's a little too close to home because I wrote it about me. But here we are now, the last song on the album. And it's a lot to tell in one song. That's why the song is 6.5 minutes. It's a true Bohemian Rhapsody of a tune. Um, again, here, I'm just gonna play it. We can talk about it after. Oh, thanks, Oshi. Vielen Dank. So here we go. The end. Kara. 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 I've never decided how I want to pronounce it. The only thing I'll say is this. Remember the Einherjar? Well, they're back.
Valkyria. heart is open. You taught me that my soul is waiting. Your other half. The sun is in our eyes, but we both stare right back. We're ready for a fight, to take the road we wanna track.
There's the end. It's the end of the tale. The end of the story. Oh, it was so fun to watch you guys react in real time as all of the medley became clear. So yeah, you got it. You got it. It's the resolution. It's the story. So it's just this huge medley. The project file for this is absolutely bananas. And it just feels like such a good wrap up of everything. So from the I love that just as its own musical piece. I'm so glad you guys do too as well. All of just literally all of the like, that was these streets, blue and green is back. That just warmed my heart. This is Kara is my Avengers Endgame. It brings in all the tracks. It does it all. So what's happening in the story? Oh, thank you very much, Rora. Is it more than 1 terabyte? No. Audio is not that big. Video is pretty big, but audio is not that big. But you know what? Out of curiosity, let's go into my files here. How big is the Kara folder? It's only 4 gigs. Look at that. The project file itself is very complex. So I shall now explain the secrets. I shall explain the secrets of Kara. What does it all mean? So if we recall an empty, so the Valkyrie died fighting the Lintworm. Jet did manage to kill it, and use the bullet that was meant for them in a more constructive way, we shall say. And then Valkyrie died from her wounds inflicted by said Lindworm. Jet has a lament. So what the heck happens in Kara? Well, we're gonna walk through this. I haven't done replays really of the tracks, but Kara deserves it because there's a lot going on, and it's the last one, so I can just talk about it without fear of like, I wanted to keep things kind of moving, throughout the whole thing. But now that we're at the end, I can take all the time I want. So picture us in our mind. We're there in the busy city streets where this lindworm came in out of frickin' nowhere and started battling this once Valkyrie. So what happens? The Einherjar happen. So they come in, the Einherjar come in, this chorus of them again, saying, Riza, geez, what is the lyric? Riza Valkyria fuest Nuriza Riza, something like that, which is saying, it is saying, you guys picked it up. You know, there are similarities between this and English. It's rise up, rise, Valkyrie, be raised. And the fuest riet is basic. The logical translation is you were right. So it's Odin and the Einherjar realizing that the Valkyrie wasn't wrong in her assessment of Jet. Jet does have a warrior spirit, but they just needed something to fight for. That was what was missing. That's basically the story here. This is Jet and Valkyrie both have bad stuff going on, but it's love that pulls them both up out of it. That's just the power of love. So with something to fight for, Jet does have a warrior spirit. So Odin and the Einherjar show up, and Odin rectifies his mistake. And he raises the Valkyrie. And this is so we have this whole chant at the start is that raise. Then we go, and it switches. We have like this men's choir and the organ doing this chant, and now we have just like drums and guitar and piano and stuff. I realized I turned that way down, but so with Jet and the Valkyrie, with Valkyrie raised up, now they're like, okay, finally, they sort of realize the impact of the journey, and even though it was really ugly, the end is them together. So it's like I would do it all again. I would do it all again if it meant we would be where we are now. But that's only really like the first 2.5 minutes. Where are we here? So yeah, so when they say like I do it all again, musically they do it all again. We have callbacks to Valkyrie, to Chorus of the Einherjar, to Pull You Down, Sun's at Our Backs, These Streets, You Can't Keep Your Heart Closed Together, in order. The medley plays in order sequentially. And then it finishes with Blue and Green. I didn't include the Overture, Oust, and How Angels Die, or Empty, really. But that's really more like, in the end, you can only stuff so much into a song. But the really intriguing thing for me here, plot-wise, is how it wraps up. So this part, which is like Pull You Down, listen to the lyrics here. Listen to the lyrics here. And this is the Valkyrie singing. Or it's here. Okay, listen to this. So the Valkyrie, Odin offers the Valkyrie her position back. He's like, okay, I've raised you. You've earned your immortality back because I realized that you did have the right judgment all along. But the Valkyrie refuses. She says, like, I would. It's Arwen and Aragorn all over again. Because the Valkyrie's like, I found something more meaningful to me than what I was doing before. Like being with Jet, being this love means more to me than being a Valkyrie. And that's absolutely right. Samuel Brock completes her character arc full circle. The two, Jet and the Valkyrie, both have arcs they go on. I'm just like, I'm very biased, of course, because I wrote this, but I love it. I love if I may just toot my own horn for 10 seconds. I love that I was able to, write this all and to have the narrative run through the music. But just from a story perspective, in a limited amount of words and album space, have two main characters go on, like have full arcs, have separate things that are joined. It all works together. I'm proud of myself. So that's that. And then we kick back to blue and green. And it's just them celebrating together, and we end off with the Einherjar celebrating them too, saying "Aust atla Ive," which is love forever. And that last line of second last line, just about last line of English, I really love. Where is this? Oh yeah, this right here. This right here. A future made of blue and green. That's our happily ever after. That's our happily ever after. So Jet and the Valkyrie remain human, but together. And that's our whole story. We have a happy ending. How about that? For those of you who have watched me do improv songs, you know I always have horrible things happen. And this time I was determined to do the opposite. So we have our whole story from start to finish in music, in song. And there we are. So I hope you enjoy these songs on their own and with the narrative if you want. You don't need the narrative to enjoy the music for what it is. Although it does certainly, it adds a different angle. Don't feel like you need to do it with that angle. If a song means something to you, like Empty for me, I don't even really associate with Jet and the Valkyrie. Like that's more for me. The same with Pull You Down. It's kind of a stretch to connect to the story. Like those things mean different things to me. But I just hope you enjoy it all. Where does Demon Truck fit in this album? Nowhere. Demon Truck needs to stay away from this album. So the album comes out at noon tomorrow. That's when it gets released on Spotify and in all major stores like iTunes, Amazon, probably. I don't know. I need to. It's in all the big ones. It's all there. I'll also be releasing all of the audio tracks on right here on the YouTube channel. And you'll just be able to enjoy the whole thing. Demon Truck will have no place here. Although this is weirdly genre bending in that it involves just like modern day 21st century life and also ancient Norse mythology. Demon Truck does not fit into the mythos of Jet and the Valkyrie. As for what kara means, jeez. Someone got it right, as right as it can be for interpretation. That is the name of the Valkyrie. She's only ever referred to as the Valkyrie up until then. But in my head, her eschewing the title, like she can't be the Valkyrie if she's saying, no, Odin, I want to stay here and be human. So she needs a name. And in my head, this is like one of those details that isn't, explicitly listed anywhere. But in my head, I've thought, it's like, what name would she pick for herself? If Valkyrie what all she was before, what identity does she give herself now? And she gives herself the name Kara, which I did take from an existing Valkyrie in actual Norse mythology, to have some consistency. But just for her to become something beyond the Valkyrie, that's why it's important for her to have a name, to be human. Yeah, that's right, Samuel. Who says it's like Hamilton and Hadestown. This is a musical you can enjoy with your ears alone. It was always like visually. I started writing it as an opera. I mean, the overture is extraordinarily opera-ish. It's purely, classical and all that. The rest becomes more modern. Like, we have These Streets. These Streets and the overture are on the same album. Now, how about that? But it was always intended as a story. It like Etoile was a story as well, but with an EP you have less room to tell a story, and it's a little more vague. With Jet and the Valkyrie, I have like the whole I can see the stage in my head. I can like see the costumes and how the action works and how the opera would be done. A real Gesamtkunstwerk, as they say. I can envision every detail of it. But yeah, you want to call the Valkyrie something different? You do it. I mean, really, it's important for her to have a name. What that name is less important. Kara's just the one that, like, I picked for me. Well, there we are. I am going to not ramble on any further. You can enjoy the album tomorrow. Look forward to the videos that'll be uploaded on YouTube. It'll be out everywhere. I'll be linking to it on all my social media. It'll be real obvious and clear where it's out and all that. Thanks for sticking around. I have to say that... How do I phrase this right? The one thing I have always wanted as a musician is an audience. And to have... I got super lucky with, getting attention on YouTube and then being able to keep it. But to have even a small portion of that translate into like to you guys who are you're enjoying this and like you're listening critically and you're getting it. Like you get the story and you get the callbacks and all that. That means so much to me. That's like all I wanted as a musician. So thank you. In how many hours is it going to come out again? It's about 10 p.m. where I am, so it will come out in 14 hours. I think. I'm almost positive. But if you want to be a real keener, it's possible that some stores will release it at midnight in my time zone, which would be in 2 hours. I'm 95% sure that won't be the case. You're gonna need to wait 14 hours for what I'm very confident is all of them. But it's yeah. Yes, happy holidays to you too, Loki Log. Thank you for listening. I'm so glad you enjoyed the album. Toxomaniac, yeah, of course you can do a cover of Kara, obviously. It's probably the most difficult one to do a cover of. It's like this 6.5 minute sprawling medley, but if you can pull it off, I would be impressed just at having done it. So have yourselves a very happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Whatever you celebrate, I hope it's just full of life and wonder and joy. In this weird year, it's a dumb year. There was a pandemic. There were civil riots and unrest. It's a dumb year. So I hope you can be as happy as you possibly can. The album comes out tomorrow. Woo! This stream will be uploaded to Finwa Streaming after the album is released. Pew. All right, good night, gang. See you tomorrow. I don't know what button to press. Here it is. Bye.